This 1 Degree Outside video is brought to you by the Topsfield Fair.
At the Topsfield Fair, fun is around every corner. Experience the thrills, flavors, and entertainment you won't forget. From award-winning bites to exciting live shows, prize-winning fun awaits you at the Topsfield Fair, October 3rd to the 13th.
This is your October monthly forecast, October 2025, 1 Degree Outside Weather Network meteorologist Matt Noyes. We're going to dive in here in a second. Have you checked out the new stream? That's right. It's New England's first and only weather network. Streaming now not only at 1degreeoutside.live, but on your smart TV. Open up that YouTube app and do a search for 1 Degree Outside Network. You'll find us there. We do all of this without any type of corporate ownership or anything like that. We are beholden to no one except you, and you have been supporting us so much. If you'd like to support the mission, membership.1degreeoutside.com. We would very much appreciate that. All right, first frost dates. We've already done it in some parts of the North Country. Depending on when you watch this video, you've already done it in early October, and we've been covering that in our Insights video. But notice the farther south you go, it's possible that we wait all the way till early November. We usually do when you get around the south coast of the Cape down to the islands. Most of us, this is the month, and for a few of us, this is the month that we get our first flakes. It is typical that in October, the high terrain of the northern Greens, the great north woods of New Hampshire and Coos County, and up along the Canadian border with Maine do see a couple of flakes in October. Most of us wait till November. Now, this is going to be a warmer than normal month overall. It doesn't mean you won't get any flakes. I don't want to spend too much time on 500 millibar heights because in pattern predictions, which you can still find on our website, we went out through the first half of October using this map. But I do want to just kind of remind you of the points. If you missed pattern predictions, give you the overview, which basically you've got a big ridge of average warmth through the atmosphere across a lot of the eastern United States. That does not hold all month. You've got a couple incursions of colder air and these colder colors that come in, one during the second week of October, the other one as we approach mid-month. Now, that doesn't shut off the tropics. That does not collapse a big subtropical ridge that's out over the ocean that will keep tropical storms developing. But it does mean that if you get these incursions of cold from Canada, you're very unlikely to bring the tropical storms up into New England unless you had this remarkable timing of a merger, right? But we don't see that happening right now. Of course, we may not see that from a long ways out. Meanwhile, around the North Pole, we talked about this in pattern predictions as well. We are building the cold, but the important part here is we're seeing some of the consolidation of the coldest air around Siberia. The reason that's important, if you want a winter of cold and snow, you need to have the first building block, more often than not, being cold and snow in Siberia. You're going to start to build that this month. The next step would be bringing it into northern Alaska and portions of northern Canada, and then after that, you would bring it south. And it's a multi-month process. But step one anyway, check, at least the way it looks right now. In terms of the speed of the jet stream winds aloft, watch what happens. We're only coloring in the faster wind speeds here, and I want you to see how the wind accelerates the deeper into the month that we get. I also want you to know it's very normal. When you get a bigger clash between warmth that doesn't want to let go and Canadian cold, you accelerate the wind, but notice the direction of the wind. This is very much still coming even as we get toward mid-month out of the west or northwest. That is not the tropics. That is not moisture. That is not rain. It's not appreciable rain. That's not to say you couldn't get a disturbance. It can make some rain in there, but I think in the first half of the month, maybe you're looking at like 1 to 2 inches of total rainfall. And then the question will be as we get out, let's say, to the final week and a half of October, beyond the 17th that you see here, can we open up a bit of the Pacific or maybe a bit of the Gulf to try and add some moisture and get some rain toward the end of the month? We'll see. But the overall pattern should be warmer than normal for the eastern two-thirds of the country. It will be a dry warmth for a lot of folks as well. I think the daytime highs are really what tipped the scale. The normal high in October for Boston, 62.1. I think we should sail past that overall, even though there'll be those couple of cool shots that we looked at, right? And a low temperature running in the 40s. We may be a little closer to that because of the fact that dry air cools off during the course of the nights. But talk about the dry air. That's going to have an impact on precipitation below or much below normal for a lot of the eastern two-thirds of the country. Again, we'll see what we can do in the last 10 days or so of the month if we can open up a little bit more. But we should have a really wet month in Boston normally. This would be a recharge month on the water table. We're not doing that. Historically, just so you know, when we do this, because we've done it in some recent years, not only is that a problem with regard to the drought getting no alleviation, but it also does boost up the brush fire danger because the leaves are dying and they're drying, and we do tend to get fall brush fire action when we get a pattern like this. It looks like that may be shaping up again for at least some, if not all of us, as we get through the month of October. A reminder, you can take it one step at a time or 14 days at a time using our app. It is totally free and 5 stars, and we appreciate that you make us a part of your everyday check on weather. Even when it's sunny, you still cool off in the evening, and you can cover that in our hourly forecast page and plan things out for kids' sports or for your own plans. That's how it looks for now. Hope you have a great month, but keep coming back every day for the updates.